A female journalist took off her silk stockings and handed them to the scientist. The scientist put them into the machine and then started the transmission program. A dazzling white light burst out from the machine, and the silk stockings disappeared out of thin air and reappeared in another machine. After witnessing the whole process, the journalist was extremely excited because this was going to be an invention that would change the world. However, the scientist didn't think so because there was still a flaw in this technology. That was, it couldn't transmit organic life. The scientist put a baboon into the machine and then rewrote the program. With a flash of white light, the baboon disappeared in the machine. The experiment seemed to be very successful. But in the other machine, the female journalist saw a terrifying scene. The baboon hadn't been assembled correctly, but had turned into a lump of flesh because the computer had inverted the inside and outside of the baboon's body in order to get first-hand information. The female journalist stayed at the scientist's home. The next morning, the scientist made breakfast. He had a sudden idea and used the machine to transmit a steak. The steak seemed to be okay, but when the female journalist took a bite, she found that the taste of the steak was like chewing a piece of soap. The scientist suddenly realized that the computer didn't know what beef was. It just simply decomposed the steak and then reassembled it. So the scientist immediately rewrote the program to make the computer understand how life was composed. That night, the scientist conducted a second experiment. Under the gaze of the two of them, a live baboon ran out of the machine. The scientist was extremely excited, but then he had a bold idea. What would happen if a person was transmitted like a baboon?